The second one was that one with bows and arrow together with that one with a gun. The third one was that one with a stick to drive the cows.
We have never brought them on board. We need to know them. We need to get them on our side and have this problem sorted out. So it is a problem of spirituality. The Karamajangos believe a lot in spirituality. We need to know them. We need to get them on our side and have this problem sorted out. So it is a problem of spirituality. The Karamajangos believe a lot in spirituality. And they believe a lot in these people of theirs.
Quarterly review meetings of persistent cattle rustling also all reached a state where we had almost believed that we were coming to a complete stop of this challenge. But towards the end of last year and the beginning of this year, we, the neighbors of Karamoja, realized that the cattle rustlers who were crossing to Teso, for instance, and Katakwi in particular, had increased in.
Still with the President of Uganda, President Museveni has challenged leaders to desist from balkanization of the African people to guarantee their security and total liberation. Now, Museveni reminds African freedom fighters of safety and security of the black race remaining compromised with continuous glorification of small and weak African states. This was contained in his Heroes Day speech message as delivered by the Prime Minister, Robert Nabanja, at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds.
It was a moment of honor for the fallen national heroes as Prime Minister Robin Nabanja arrived to an executive reception at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. She was here to represent the head of state at National Heroes Day celebrations. The fully mounted UPDF parade was ready for the day's performances. This would be followed by a 3-gun salute in their honor. As Nabanja laid wreaths on the fallen heroes, the message she delivered on behalf of the president was clear.
The Speaker of Parliament will be followed by...
It recognizes the sacrifices of our heroes and heroines, both living and dead, and challenges every Ugandan to shoulder the patriotic duty of securing the gains of our struggles.
Modern farming for both subsistence and commercial purposes was prominent for improved income and job creation.
It is because of the determination of the NRM government to fight poverty and increase household incomes that we have now embarked on a parish government model, a new game changer that will increase production and productivity to put money in the pockets of our people.
This will, however, require Pan-Africanism coupled with patriotism for creation of markets for processed products in and outside the country.
The NRM leadership remains committed to principle number 2 of our 4 principles, which is Pan-Africanism. We cannot be satisfied with Uganda's small market of only 42 million people. This cannot guarantee our prosperity. This is why we support the integration of East Africa and the African market of 1.2 billion people. A bigger market is good news for Uganda's surplus commodities.
Earlier, leadership of the Veteran Association made several appeals to the president, including continued and effective leadership.
Era tukusaba ogira okyatutwala mu maaso 2026 mpaka 2030 era tukulaba ng'okyasobola. Owekitiibwa tukulaba ng'okyasobola ate wamenye likoda wayimiridde wano essaawa 3 ng'oyogera ne ngamba wamma omusajja akyalina stamina omuyeekera tamala gagenda bw'atyo.
Nti ate omusaba yeesimbeko 2026 era byonna nja kubimubuulira nga byogedde ate njogere ne ku byakasiimo by'oyogedde.
Present at the occasion were ministers and members of parliament who described the day as worth celebrating.
Yearly, we consider this day to reflect back for what they have done for us. And you know, by that time, it was not only the military, it was even the civilians who decided that enough is enough. We must support the people who want to bring sanity in this country.
And it's not necessarily about those ones who fought. It is about those people who have excelled and have made Uganda proud. But obviously the genesis of it is from the people who sacrificed their lives to die to liberate this country.
They are really our martyrs. Had they not sacrificed to that level, today we wouldn't be where we are. We wouldn't be sit in these peaceful places.
As for children of veterans, it was all appreciation to the country's leadership for good governance.
I'm proud of the current government because the president paid for my school fees from primary up to secondary. So the president is my hero and my dad is my hero too.
To see that our army schools that we passed through are given attention at the moment, which attention is not being rendered to.
The day was celebrated under the theme, commemorating our heroes and heroines, an opportunity to consolidate our efforts in securing Uganda. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Well, thank you so much, Henry Okrut, for those details and for the report on Heroes Day. A happy Heroes Day still to everyone out there. Moving on from that, several personalities have been honored with national medals for their contribution towards national development of Uganda. Now, police spokesperson Fred Enanga, former army spokesperson Dewa Kiki, and senior parliamentary journalist Lucy Laporte were some of the medalists. Enanga says such an honor is a motivational factor which young and upcoming career officers should aim at. Take a look.
The medal that we have received personally is a great motivator. It really shows that there is much trust and appreciation in the work that you do as a police officer. I'm happy that after 21 years, I've been able to receive this medal. This is the second medal that I'm receiving on the side of government. I also received 3 medals when I was in peacekeeping mission. So I've received 5 medals so far in my journey as a police officer.
This medal took me by surprise. And I was nominated by Parliament of Uganda. I didn't know that I would get such a thing. So when they called me for the Nalobale medal, I didn't know. I thought they were buffet calling until they called me for the second time to pick the card and take COVID test is when I believed. But from what I believe in myself, I'm not surprised of my weight and kilos. Yes, I'm not surprised.
This medal, Golden Jubilee medal, is a very important signature, a very important sign that our services, however little we have served this country, is recognized. And it gives us a lot of morale and gives us that courage to even serve better, to even serve more our country. to work hard. I know people are working hard out there. We are not the best, but I know time will come. Of course, not everybody can be recognized at a go, but I know that at some point, those who have served diligently their country, they will be recognized.
Well, congratulations to all those that were awarded medals. In more stories, the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has welcomed a donation of 5 million doses of Sinovac vaccines that China has offered to Uganda as continued support to the country in the fight against COVID-19. The announcement of the donation was made by the Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Uganda, His Excellency Hang Lichong, during a meeting held at State House Nakasero on Wednesday. Mrs. Janet Museveni expressed government of Uganda's readiness to receive the vaccines and thanked the government and people of China for the offer. She also thanked the First Lady of China, Professor Peng Liyuan, for the medical supplies she donated earlier before to Uganda through the Organization of the African First Ladies for Development to support women and children in the fight against COVID-19 in Africa. Mrs. Museveni and the Chinese ambassador also discussed further cooperation in various fields in the education sector. She requested the ambassador to follow up on her request for cooperation in skills development, which she presented to China's Minister of Education in 2018 on the sidelines of the meeting of Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. Ambassador Zhang Linzhong said that during the last FOCAC meeting held in Dakar, Senegal in 2021, China's President Xi Jinping announced 9 programs to focus to strengthen the China-African cooperation. These include delivery of vaccines and other health projects, human resource capacity building, including vocational training, poverty reduction and agriculture development, trade promotion, investment, digital innovation, environmental protection, peace and security, and culture, and to people exchange to promote tourism. He added that more focus is now on livelihood assistance to developing countries so that many local communities can benefit from the bilateral cooperation. He gave an update on progress of China's cooperation in the education sector in Uganda, including the contribution of the food assistance worth $7 million through the World Food Programme to schools and families in Karamoja since 2018. Mrs. Museveni thanked China for their food support to Karamoja, saying it helps and encourages children to go to school, knowing that they would have a midday meal at school. China's ambassador also informed the First Lady that universities in China have again opened up their doors for scholarships for international university students, including Uganda, which program has been disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic then. Now, the Minister of Health, Jane Ruth Echeng, said that Uganda will be pleased to receive the donation of 5 million doses of Sinovac vaccine from the government of China. State Minister for Sports, Dennis Obua, requested the Chinese ambassador to consider including construction of Buhinga Sports Stadium in Fort Portal and Akibu Olympic Stadium in Lira under the FOCAC cycle for 2021 to 2023. These are some of the projects that had been prioritized during the FOCAC meeting in Beijing in 2018, but were dropped owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. China's ambassador noted that strong desire of Uganda to have the 2 stadiums constructed and promised to keep in consultation and to see how this can be achieved. The ambassador was together with Economic Councillor Jiang Jing and Wang Chengchu, the first secretary at the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in Uganda. Moving on from that, visiting Malawian Minister for National Unity Timothy Mtambo has hailed President Yoweri Museveni for his insistence on African unity as a tool for growth. Details follow.
The National Leadership Institute in Changwanzi has hosted visiting Malawian Minister for National Unity Timothy Mtambo. The minister was there principally to share ideas, gain ideological experience and also copy how the institute has transitioned the leadership in Uganda.
We have come here in Uganda to learn and share experience. Uganda is a country that has established very strong governance institutions. And we are amongst the institutions that were visited. We visited Makerere University, the Department of Philosophy. We visited the Ministry of in the Office of the President. We also visited a local NGO on mindset change.
He praised the Ugandan president for fostering African unity, which is surely the only way Africa can solve its own problems and grow politically, economically, and on the social front.
Today, we are here at the Leadership Institute. This is a very powerful institution which we in Malawi would like to learn from. Its courses, its programs, because we know and believe that without proper leadership at different levels, we cannot drive our development agenda. We cannot transform our societies. And we're actually here because we also recognize the fact that Uganda and our country, we have got similar cultures.
The NALI director, Brigadier General Charles Kisembo, says most African problems emanate from a lack of a coherent ideology and failure to craft a common stance, and this has kept Africa reeling in the fault lines of ethnicity and identity.
That's a good development. Of course, there are challenges that have to do with the broad integration in the areas of security, in the areas of politics, but I trust the leadership as they continue to work, as they continue to engage, the East African integration and African unity will become a reality because there is a willingness. There is the leadership. There are ideological challenges here and there, but those are not permanent obstacles. Through such engagements, we can always address them.
The Malawian minister parted by saying this visitor reignites good relations between the two countries and will grow to other African countries. John Burns Sentamu reporting.
Have waka, you pass the ice through me about my waka. Now come and see for yourself, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo. Jangola we waka, look at you waka, see my waka that I got with Momo Nyabo.
Show them waka! Simply deposit 20K or more on your mobile money for a chance to win 3 Toyota Succeeds and money to 2,000 lucky winners every week. We're giving away 24 cars and over 2 billion shillings of mobile money.
Football packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Everybody, Go TV. This is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories. Zidiwano, GoTV Uganda. Love it.
Even with my grandson, a doctor at my side, I struggled to get the help I needed. But he saw something that day. He began to work day and night. He wouldn't quit, even when people said no. He wouldn't stop fighting. He knew something had to change, and his vision was bigger than anyone could imagine. He made it possible to receive quality medical services anywhere in Uganda by simply using a phone.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Fellow citizens, thank you for diligently and consistently honoring your tax obligations. It is through your collective contribution that the government is able to provide social services. In spite of the simultaneous global crises that have hit our livelihoods and businesses, You have proven that as a people, we can rise up and still mobilize domestic revenues enough to sustain us as a country. As we close in to the end of this financial year, I urge you not to lose the momentum and resilience that you have demonstrated all year through. Please file your returns and remit your taxes in time to avoid unnecessary inconveniences that come with non-compliance. As Uganda Revenue Authority, we are committed to facilitate you in honoring your obligations through a reliable and delightful service. I invite you to use our various e-platforms to remit your tax contributions with ease and on time. We have extended all our working hours at all our border stations, the bonded warehouses, and service centers. Should you need further assistance, please contact us via our toll-free lines and our WhatsApp platforms. Tax is the surest way of liberating our country from the bondage of economic dependence. Let us all play our part, pay our dues, and develop our country. For God and my country.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
The Oil and Gas Moment, brought to you by Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey. The development and commercialization of Uganda's oil and gas resources is being undertaken through 4 flagship projects, which will bring in investment over $15 billion into the economy. The Kingfisher project will produce 40,000 barrels of crude oil per day at peak. The Tilenga project will produce 190,000 barrels of crude oil per day at peak. The 1,443-kilometer East African crude oil pipeline project will transport the produced crude oil to access the international market via the Tanga port in Tanzania. The Uganda refinery project will process up to 60,000 barrels of oil per day to provide petroleum products to the Ugandan market and its immediate neighbors. Additional exploration work is ongoing in the Kanyotaba and Ngasa areas in the Albertine Graben. For more information, visit www.pau.go.ug. Petroleum Authority of Uganda, creating lasting value in Uganda's oil journey.
Thank you so much for still watching UBC TV. Thank you for watching UBC News Tonight. Now, we still continue, and in more stories, in his inauguration speech, President Yoweri Museveni stressed on the need for African unity and a united military for supporting each other. In reviewing the first-year performance of his 5 years term, we highlight how Museveni has lived on his words of strengthening security internally and at the regional level. Nasil Abdulwama with a report.
After swearing in to lead Uganda for the next 5 years, the country experienced constant terror attacks, which claimed lives of innocent Ugandans. With the 2 double-edged faces of a military man and a civilian, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni established calculative tactics to dismantle ADF sleeper cells, those in urban and in remote areas. Several remnants were arrested, while others were put out of action in the process.
Where the joint forces were able to arrest 3 armed ADF rebels, recovered 8 guns, 80 rounds of ammunition of PK machine gun, 45 rounds of ammunition of 20.7mm anti-aircraft gun.
The fight against the ADF remnants has taken much of Museveni's military attention to establish a military joint operation with neighboring DR Congo, codename Operation Shujaa, with a target of dismantling the ADF Islamic State's financed Ugandan rebel outfit operations in eastern DRC.
The joint forces of the EPDF and Congolese armies on Monday killed more than 15 ADF rebels in eastern DRC on Sunday night. The joint force made offensive action against rebels of the ADF that had killed 16 Congolese civilians.
Operation Shujaa in Kong has seen many of the ADF bases destroyed and peace restored in respective places to spur economic transformation. Several agreements have been signed between Uganda and neighboring countries to dismantle ADF.
But when you look at DRC again, we have UPDF, we have KDF, teaming up with other sister countries in supporting the stabilization of Eastern Congo.
In his inauguration speech to lead Uganda for the 6th term as president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni emphasized African unity to encounter threat as it might arise.
Stated that the African patriots, like we in the NRM, are neither pro-West nor pro-East. We are first and foremost pro-Africa. When I came in the government when we were still fighting, are you pro-East or pro-West? Idiot, I'm pro-Africa.
Museveni said lack of unity and a strong African army has led to the downfall of many African governments.
Bypassing the African Union is not acceptable when it comes to dangerous strategic African issues. We have no interest in fighting anybody except poverty and underdevelopment in Africa. Africa can defend itself against any and all aggressors if we coordinate.
By convincing other African leaders, President Museveni in his first year in office for this 6th term managed to establish the African Global Security Foundation with its headquarters in Dakar, Senegal. This came amidst coups in many African countries. The body was given the chairmanship of Museveni's right-hand man and former Prime Minister of Uganda, John Patrick Amama Mbabazi.
Is maintenance of peace and security. This can be accomplished by all parties working together to prevent conflict by creating conditions that allow peace to hold and to flourish.
Other security concerns still challenging Museveni government in this new term is that of the Karamojong warriors in the Karamoja sub-region that has also pursued insecurity in some parts of Teso sub-region.
Overall achievements since July 2021 to 291 guns recovered so far, 2,962 ammunitions. Warriors put away are 392. Those arrested are 6,976. And those prosecuted are 1,600. The livestock recovered from warriors that were suspected, raided, or rustled are 21,847.
The issue of Karamojong warriors involves two countries of Uganda and Kenya, with intelligence clues indicating that these warriors acquire ammunition from Turkana in western Kenya.
The CDFs of Kenya and Uganda are here. I also wish to emphasize the need to jointly address the problem of arms trafficking and the proliferation which is exacerbating the insecurity along our borders.
Operation Usalama Kwa Wote was launched in July of last year. So far, several successes have been registered, though still demands more attention to self-suffering Ugandans in the volatile Karamoja.
So the operation Usalama Kwa Wote is registering tremendous success, and the UPDF initiated meetings between leaders of Karamoja and the neighboring districts which are being affected of Lang and Acholi, that's Sagago, were aimed at realizing a permanent solution to deal with these cattle thefts.
Despite the end of AMISOM operations in Somalia, Uganda, under the leadership of Museveni, committed more terms in the newly formed African force in the names of ATMIS.
ANSIT, the African Transition a mission in Somalia, which has been approved by the UN Security Council, and it is aligned with the program of transition in Somalia itself. So the transitional federal government and the transitional peacekeeping force of UNCIT are working together to ensure that Somalia is ushered into permanent peace.
By reviewing his security policy in the so far 1 year of the 5 years, Museveni has lived on his words of regional security and the African military might. Abdul Nasser Lubwama for UBC.
Thank you so much, Abdul Nasser Lubwama, for that report. Moving on from that, cattle raids in some areas of Karamoja have drastically reduced following UPDF's intensified deployment to end cattle thefts. Now, the commander, 3rd Division, Barikudembe Joseph, says that the operations have been effected due to inadequate resources and manpower, giving birth to new cattle rustlers. New strategies have been employed to counter criminals in Karamoja sub-region. Ivan Kawa reports.
UPDF under Usalama kwa Wote operation, launched in July 2021 to date, has been able to retrieve guns used by criminals to terrorize Karamoja and the neighborhood. 309 guns and 2,592 rounds of ammunition have been recovered. 441 criminals have been charged before the division court-martial and are serving sentences.
The efforts made as highlighted above, the situation did not significantly change due to manpower gaps and logistic challenges, leading to escalation of cattle rustling in the months of January and February.
UPDF, however, has embarked on concurrent operations in the 9 districts of Karamoja to deter criminality. Intelligence units discovered that Karenga warriors were conducting raids in Kotido.
We have so far retrieved 4 guns from Karenga. The sub-counties that do raid in Karenga are Kawarakor, Kapedo, and Sangar. These are sub-counties that are close to Dodos, Kabongo, that some of the criminal elements that remain within the district, the new districts of Karenga, they also go for raids.
The army is now profiling all categories involved in cattle raiding, including those with guns, armed warriors with bows and arrows, those who use sticks, and suspects.
Some civilian volunteered information. We have 18 people whom the civilian said that these are raiders who normally go to Pian. They testified and we have them in our custody. They will appear in court.
Checkpoints have been erected to monitor the movement of cattle. On the other hand, UPDF faces challenges to hand over recovered cattle to the respective owners.
Is largely attributed to local leaders from both victims and perpetrators failing to agree on the matters related to contestation on the figures stolen animals against the recovered.
President Museveni, who was in Kapchora in a meeting with regional leaders and security over cattle raids, stated that possession of guns can be discouraged by communities.
So the guns are there in Congo, in South Sudan, but Ugandans are not concerned because they have got out of that culture. So therefore, the Karamojong will have to get out of that culture of guns.
The president warned raiders who conduct attacks after being blessed by witch doctors to successfully execute their missions.
We may talk to the witch doctors. The more serious way of persuading people is to kill the raiders in spite of having been blessed by the witch doctors. Because that now becomes scientific proof that magic does not work.
Bugisu and Sebei continue to experience cattle theft, smuggling and illegal entry. Uganda and Kenya local authorities are in talks to solve the existence of cross-border related crimes. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
Members of Parliament from the Western region have objected to the initial plan of holding Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba Sports Gala at a regional level, but rather proposed that the arrangements be scaled down to sub-region levels. Now, they've been meeting the organizing committee chairman Michael Kaguta alias Toyota.
Members of Parliament from the western part of Uganda have convened to lay down strategies for the coming MK Sports Gala expected in the region.
The thing is too wide. When you talk of cultural gala, what is incorporated?
The meeting held in Kampala was chaired by the organizing committee chair, Michael Kaguta alias Toyota.
So I was thinking that we divide ourselves into different activities. Then at the end of the day, we converge for the presentation and the partying and the, so that people come on board.
Someone from Piano, Soro, everybody. Why don't we have a medium and then we price the children?
Although it was a meeting to chart a way forward for the Mbara event, the 14th June homecoming organized by Kruhura District in Rushere dominated the engagement.
Honorable Kangwaja, you will be a witness. Even Mr. Baram, even the chairperson. This time when we were trying to change the function from fifth, it costed us as leaders. And it is the similar thing that affected us. The same time MK was going to come, the same time Mama was coming.
Then for Chihura, my dear brother-in-law, leave 14th alone.
With the president expected to lead the nation on Tuesday next week in the budget reading, members of parliament objected the event's proposal.
We can't avoid the budget day. The other day, Noob decided to go away. We occupied those seats. So meaning that if we are away, who is going to occupy those seats? And remember, everyone focuses on all of us. Hey, where are the MPs from the region? Where are the MPs?
14th being your budget today, really it isn't good for anyone to expect the members of parliament to be the Chihura when there is a national activity of that nature and in the presence of the president.
His Excellency the President be here. Another Excellency that is coming tomorrow is the other side. It will be a big blow.
At the end of the day, it was resolved that the regional sports gala will also be scaled down to sub-regions to ease facilitation, participation and mobilization.
We are trying to look for ways on how we can arrive to the intended goals. We said that before we had a mega plan of having the whole of Western region to converge in Mbarara and have celebrations from there. But we found it was going to be too hectic, too hard for all people to be brought on board, because it is hard. You cannot transport all members.
His idea that he has fronted is a most welcome idea. Usually and historically in Uganda, the Western region, especially Ankole, does not come up so much in terms of sports. So for him to think about it and bring us a sports gala is an A+.
Because members, their views, they are saying Western is very big. So we are going to use the sub-regions of Western Uganda. There are sub-regions like sub-region Ankole, there is Rwenzori, Toro, Bunyoro and Chigezi.
Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba is the Commander of Land Forces and has recently engaged members of the public through various activities including sports and entertainment. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Robert Onyango. Every child has a right to learn and access quality services to fulfill their potential. More than 16% of Ugandan children have a disability. This suggests that most children with disabilities are not able to attend school, and that learners with special needs fail to transition from one educational level to another.
The UNICEF report 2014 indicates that only 5% of children with disabilities can access education through inclusive schools and 10% through special schools.
Baby, Papa, baby, Papa is sleeping. Papa.
This This has prompted the Ministry of Education and Sports through the Inclusive Education Department to call for a dialogue with education officers in charge of special needs education at the local government level to create a way forward.
If we want to move in a similar direction in a harmonized way, we need to come together. We need to discuss how do we deliver issues concerning or services concerning special needs and inclusive education.
Participants narrate the challenges they go through while teaching and monitoring the special interest students, including non-friendly infrastructure, mobility, inadequate learning materials, stigma and discrimination, among others.
Education is a right for all children, regardless of their ability or disability. So inclusive education is really fundamental.
These children face disabilities such as hearing impairment, mental impairment, visual and physical impairments, among others.
Many learners with special needs are still at home. They are not in school. So this gives us an opportunity for these people to go back, mobilize the parents, mobilize the district leaders and everybody else to ensure that many learners access school.
In the same vein, Inclusive Education Department has called upon government to increase on the funding it allocates to the department since they have a lot to fulfill.
We always cry. We are given least money, and yet the issues that we are supposed to deal with are bigger.
Parents are also advised always to give maximum attention and support to their children instead of neglecting them.
Any parent who has a child who is disabled, who has any issues that they need somebody's help, they should not hide them. Let them bring them forward. We have the government, we have a lot of political will. We are in this position to make sure that the children who are disabled or they have different needs, they are helped. They are also educated like any other child. Education is a right for everybody. Therefore, they should make sure that they bring forward these children. They should no longer hide them. They should show love. They should treat them as children. They should understand the challenges these children have. You cannot beat a child just because the child you have called is not hearing what you are saying, because the child is having some deafness.
Jethro Kasaije, Tone Senabulia, UBC News.
Thank you so much. In more stories, an A-level needs assessment has revealed that learners lack 21st century skills, including communication, critical thinking and problem solving, hence producing more job seekers and creators. Officiating at the National Stakeholders Consultative Meeting to review the A-level curriculum, State Minister for Primary Education, Mariko Kaduchu, said that it is unacceptable for learners to be trained under competence-based curriculum at O-level and turn to the old one for A-level.
National Curriculum Development Center, NCDC, has embarked on an initiative to review the advanced level curriculum to match the competences for students from O-level and prepare them for university. Most of the universities have aligned to a curriculum that is marketable. However, preliminary findings from A-level needs assessment indicate that learners have the knowledge but cannot translate it into required skills.
In terms of skill, this preliminary study has demonstrated that A-level leavers are very weak in computing mathematical problems. That's why the A-level, the lower secondary curriculum, talks about problem solving, critical thinking, analytical skills.
Students currently in Senior 1 and 2 are under a reviewed competency-based O-level curriculum rolled out in 2020, and by 2025, when they will be in Senior 5, they will require to study under a curriculum that matches the new lower secondary curriculum.
The learners who have been getting out of A-level have a mismatch with the society. They cannot perform anything in society. For instance, if you asked them to write an application letter, many cannot do it. The learners should be able to manage the problems they face. The stakeholders, they are indicating that we need to vocationalize the A-level curriculum.
Findings also indicate that learners who have been getting out of A-level have a mismatch with society. They cannot perform anything.
I think we are now just going to look at what we call now the proficiencies or the competences. Subjects are just baskets or careers. So I don't mind where you have got the competences from. So I'm trying to say, what is it that is required, that is needed, and how do we get them, rather than sticking to the subject. That's why you hear there is integrations, mergers.
NCDC is finding out why there is a high school dropout at all levels and also the teaching methods. National Curriculum Development Center wants to align the A-level curriculum with what is happening in the 21st century and global picture,
which need to be reorganized within general paper to have basic communication skills, to have basic ICT skills, basic research skills, basic mathematics, and then basic health education.
NCDC also plans to come out with a curriculum where every learner at A-level at least gets a module in a vocational or technical subject. With now a competency-based curriculum for O-level, education sector is shifting from learning outcomes of acquiring knowledge to competency-based, putting the skills and the attitude at the learner's outcome. I'm Navka Farida and Juman Samba in Kampala.
Hand hygiene saves lives. To contain the spread of COVID-19 and many other infectious diseases, it is critically important to clean hands regularly with water and soap. The World Health Organization and the Ministry of Health issued preventive and protective guidelines to be followed to ensure that masses are safe from future and deadly diseases.
The eventual announcement of the full reopening of the economy,
pre-primary, primary and secondary schools will be opened for learners starting with the 10th of January 2021.
Played melodious music in the ears of learners, having been fatigued by the 2 years of idle stay at home due to the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown. Schools took the first blow of the COVID-19 pandemic with their closure enforced by government in an attempt to slow down the spread of the highly contagious virus. In a rapid endeavor to suppress the overflow of the virus into the communities, the Ministry of Health issued a stringent cocktail of guidelines, including observance of social distance, wearing of masks, and the frequent washing of hands, either with soap or disinfection with an alcohol-based sanitizer. Health facilities, too, needed as much as the community to observe the guidelines since they had been pointed out as critical disease contraction points. A countrywide disinfection and hand-washing campaign had to be launched. However, the hand-washing facilities meant an extra cost, quite exorbitant under the circumstances, given the fact that many people had been rendered unemployed by the economic lockdown. The government sprang into action, providing 1.5 million shillings to all primary schools to procure the hand-washing facilities. However, the much appreciated help was a drop in the ocean. At Pangera Primary School in Lamo District, 2 hand-washing stands were installed against a population of almost 1,000 learners.
Basically, this is not enough because compared to our enrollment, as I told you, it has gone high. So we need more because this is also something not long-lasting. It can also break. So now I want to appeal to the ministry through UNICEF to supply many more in terms of the hand-washing facility and even construction of the latrines.
Ochola says only 2 facilities against a population of 975 pupils causes a lot of delay, especially in the morning when pupils are checking in.
We've had a number of challenges as in regards to wash system. Yeah. Initially, we had few hand washing facilities right from the entrance of our facility at the gate to the areas that are providing these services.
The lending hand of development partners came in handy to offer the desired support to schools and health institutions through the government. UNICEF, GIZ, and SNV were some of the institutions to come out to provide the additional assistance in 21 beneficiary districts supported by the Ministry of Water and Environment.
We received some hand washing facilities from UNICEF and government of Uganda, and all these different hand washing facilities have been distributed at different points within the hospital.
We received the hand washing facilities from UNICEF, 1 jerry can, 1 bucket, 6 liters of sanitizer, then soap.
Regionally, some of the selected beneficiary districts included Kamuli in the east, Tungamo in the west, Napalk and Lamo in the north.
The message we are giving to the people who use this facility is to show them how to use their elbow, like doing like this, and they open, wash their hands, then on closing they use the elbow, close the facility, not to leave the infection on the hand.
It has helped in the morning. When they are coming, we have 2 points at the gate. And in front of every room, we had a hand washing facility. And at the latrine site, we had for both boys and girls, which they are filling every morning. And that one has helped to promote hygiene. They helped the teachers, they were told to wash their hands using the clean water and soap. And then it has now become their habit. Each time they have gone to the latrine, they can wash from the latrine, and when they enter the classroom again, they are washing from in front of the classroom.
However, he notes that few schools benefited. Water is still a challenge in some schools since they lack a water source, and the mindset towards hand washing has to be worked on for better output. Beyond the hygiene obtained by the learners through the frequent hand washing at the multiple stands visible in the school compounds, the measure signals a total shift with adoption beyond the fences of the institutions of learning.
I'm so happy that we are also having the hand washing facility in our school, because it is now helping us not getting the disease like coronavirus, cholera.
Presence of the hand washing facility has made us very safe.
We always come to school without sanitizer, so this water helps us in cleaning our hands, and you just go to class, you save time. You used to wash, but sometimes you go to the tap, you wash your hands without soap, but this water here has been mixed with detergents like soap, Omo.
At first people took it as a joking matter. But when the disease went on serious, people now are used to put on masks, and every patient you see coming at the facility, they are putting on face masks and keeping social distance.
The World Health Organization indicates that hands transmit 80% of infections. But with the hand-washing culture picking up, there are testimonies of a reduction in cases.
So we are having a reduced number of cases of diarrhea, eye diseases, mainly because of partly because of some of these hand-washing facilities that we have. I must say that the hospital already had its own hand-washing facilities, which are already distributed in the different points of the hospital. So what we only got with UNICEF only helped to supplement what we already had.
That one has helped to reduce on many sicknesses, because their hands can touch anything, and it can be also used to pick those things that we are eating. And with that, it has also reduced on the number of cases of children sent to the hospital with stomach complaints.
The adoption plays well to the desired change in society.
Patients are able to enter and wash their hands before they are served. And I'm actually happy, because the issue to do with the hand washing is not now a problem. People are actually appreciating it. They're actually taking it as personal, and if I move around the facility, I see people do it with a lot of joy.
We thank those people from UNICEF and Ministry of Water and Environment for providing us with those hand washing facilities, liquid soap, sanitizer, face masks, and others. And as I talk now, people are used with washing their hands.
Many parents are also coming to report to us that their children, when they are at home, they are always complaining that they should be having the hand washing facility at home. Meaning they pick many things from the school and they are transferring them at home.
Even then, there are lapses in the communities in observing the required measures in public spaces.
I want to move a vote of thanks to the Ministry of Water and Environment. It is through, and also the government of Uganda, which went through Ministry of Water and the Environment and through UNICEF to think about rural schools to give us these facilities, because we had not received any assistance from any organization before UNICEF provided these facilities to us.
We are fighting corona through washing our hands with clean water and soap. We thank UNICEF for giving us those washing facilities. They taught us how to manage fighting COVID-19.
Whereas there is a lot to be desired yet, the intensified COVID-19 hand-washing measures have clearly gone a long way in mitigating the spread of communicable diseases.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello, this is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Congratulations. Oh, one good day.
Good day? But I haven't entered any competition.
Owadechi, since you use your phone every day, we have randomly selected you as one of our loyal customers, and you have won a brand new pickup.
Hey, so how do I get this pickup?
The pickup is in Namave. All we have to do is quickly bring it to you. You know, we are delivering many of them. So, just send us 100K for fuel via mobile money and we'll bring it to you.
But Chief, I'm in no hurry to receive it. Namambe is just here. Keep it at your warehouse, give me directions and I will get time to pick it up.
Vaonawe, if you don't have money, just say.
Tonfera, never send money to strangers. Winners of competitions are contacted through official channels and are never asked to pay for anything. Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tonfera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
Water gives life. Water is life. But not all water is created equal. Refresh yourself with the new quality Nirvana packaged drinking water and fuel you and your passion to go further in life. Visit a shop near you and grab a 250 ml at 500 shillings, 500 ml at 1,000 shillings, 1.5 liters at 2,000 shillings, or the 20-liter jumbo bottle at 19,000 shillings. Nirvana is a product of Crown Beverages Limited, the makers of Pepsi products.
You're still watching UBC News Tonight. In our business stories, Total Energies Uganda has launched the Tilenga Biodiversity Program aimed at protecting and conserving biodiversity in and around the Tilenga project area. The program will ensure a sustainable approach in working with community towards protecting and conserving the ecologically rich area in and around Murchison Falls Conservation Area. Take a look.
The Tilenga project was planned to develop 9 fields, among others Jabiru, Ngiri, Gunya, Kasamene, Wahirende, Chigogole and Soga, Ngege and Gara. The project is meant to produce 190,000 barrels of oil per day during peak production and as well enhance the fisheries sector. For it to be meaningful, Total Energies, a PA company currently working on oil development in Uganda and Tanzania, has officially launched Tilenga Biodiversity Program to protect and conserve biodiversity in and around Murchison Falls. According to the General Manager Total Energies EP Uganda, Philippe Groix, the program will ensure a sustainable approach in working with community towards protecting and conserving the ecologically rich area in and out Murchison Falls Conservation Area.
We minimize the number of well pads in the past. First, we decided to group the wells
not to drill vertical wells. I mean, the simpler for oil development is to drill vertical wells.
As a way of expanding this program, government should gazette land elsewhere for conservation, since the oil and gas sector has to provide market for fish and input for modernization as well as improve productivity for fisheries.
So provide input for modernization and improving productivity of fisheries. How do you do this? By protecting the spawning sites or the breeding sites of fish. And when we were talking about avoidance in the mitigation hierarchy, avoidance, mitigation and restoration.
Simon Nampindo, the country director, Wildlife Conservation Society, reiterates that domesticating could be another option, so people should not only look at open waters as fishing areas alone.
But can we bring those fisheries to people's property, right? That would help to reduce the pressure, but also sustain those fisheries in the lakes.
This program is hinged on 4 pillars, among others reducing human resources and strengthening the ecological resilience of Murchison Falls, implementing conservation and restoration measures for forests, protecting and maintain the connectivity of habitats, and working with the host community to manage and restore wetlands. Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
Now finally, as we conclude today at UBC News Tonight at 8 p.m. on a rather lighter note, UBC's Peter Otai and Sheila having a viral social media clip have been spotted sending a chilling message to Nation Media's NTV Sports fraternity, warning them of a total annihilation in the pending soccer clash come this Sunday, the 12th of June 2022. It will be noted that UBC are the current UJA soccer champions, are fit and they've achieved and have prevailed over 23 media houses in Uganda.
Otai and Sheila, take me out.
So this is a message to NTV. On Sunday, make sure you come with a very clean, good bag to receive goals. Because this time around, we are not joking. We are going to beat you and you put your legs in the air.
Not only one goal, but Mutu ina muwolokoso, but this time we have in the football.
No wolokoso this time. Prepare.
Calm down. We are going to show you that UBC to sabo mopira gwena we no chimatida. Meka
4-0.
Nya 0. Tovewano.
Well, that was Peter Otai and Sheila telling and warning Nation Media that it has to be 4-0 come this Sunday. Thank you so much for watching UBC News Tonight at 8 p.m. Do join me again at 10 p.m. for more news coming your way. My name is Sharon Chomdushe with Nagakoni Elizabeth on Sign Language. Good night.
Updates, thanks for watching UBC. I'm Daphne Kavasitan Samba from Uganda National